and welcome to Weaverbirds Live TV with me, Karen Weaver, and
Me, Emma Weaver.
yay! I haven't put my little streamy banner down the bottom, so one wee second. There we go. We are talking about authentic leadership. And if you know me and Emma, we're going to have real conversations about our subjects. And as from next week, we're going to start bringing in guests. So if you want to be a guest on our live TV show, you can send us a DM. I know I was to put out a job form last week, didn't. So send us a private message. We'll compile a list and then we will put you on the waiting list to come on the show. Yay! Isn't it exciting?
Yay. Yeah, it always brings a bit of extra fun factor when somebody else comes on and we're able to tap into their kind of wisdoms and have conversations around things. So that's exciting.
And it makes a difference because it's usually me doing like 5, 6 a.m.s. And this is a really cool middle of the day time for me. So thank you.
Not for me. It's like, well, it's 6:30 here, but that's not too bad. I'd be up anyway. So the secret to your success is in your daily routine. So up and at it early.
Yes. I learned something new this week as well that I have been embracing. So it was when you wake up to get into that perfect meditative state or just into that perfect theta state to go to, you have to start at 100 at the beginning, but then you get so refined at it, you'll be able to just go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just go straight into that state. So it's a habitual habit that you do that gets your body to subconsciously go into that state. And it's so worth it because that's a really creative, flowing, connected to super wisdom state that you can get into that just makes life next level, doesn't it?
Well, I think, didn't Mel Robbins say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? So there must be something in that. But I like what you're doing better there. Kind of ease yourself into it. So from 100 down and then 90 and 80
Well,
and
the
70 and
100, it
60.
seems like a lot. Yeah, it seems like a lot at the beginning, but it's only 3 minutes. And it gets you into a habit of I got into a habit of reaching for my phone. That's the worst thing you could do. So I've got my phone away from me at nighttime. I don't have it anywhere near me. And so I wake up and I do that. And then I listen to my Elizabeth Peru daily and set the intention. And then I write or I do the study with Kiara. So it's just starting the day on the right note and it sets the day off. It's like building the foundations for the day. It sets it off. And we're talking about authentic leadership. And that's being authentic, isn't it? Really mindfully setting your day up for success.
Well, I mean, most of the successful people in leadership that I know all have an amazing early morning routine. Like some people even as early as 3:30 in the morning. And obviously I'm part of Tom's group and there's people in there getting up at 3:30, 4, 5, 6, whatever. But it's based on the routine of how you set the intention for your day that is for you. And I suppose that is what being authentic is, finding out what works for you, understanding what your goals are and showing up your best self. But it's really important to start the day off as the person that you want to be that day.
Yeah, and it is a choice. It's a choice and it's a mindful thing that you have to action. And one of the things that is important is if you're getting up early, you need to go to bed early. You know, I read that it was from 10 until 5 at least. And like, for example, you've got to go with what life, if you're a global person, you're going to have nighttime calls, things like that. You got to balance it out. So whereas last night I had a 1 a.m. call in the US, I don't do that very often, but it was a worthwhile 1 a.m. call. So I showed up, but I had 2 hours sleep beforehand, got up, refreshed, whatever. And then I slept in this morning because it took me a while to switch off. It was like 2:33 before I went back to sleep again. So you've got to know, your body will let you know, you got to honor that. Because if you don't, and if you're burning the candle at all ends, you're not being authentic to yourself because you end up in burnout. And that's no example to set for anybody, isn't it, not sis?
Well, it's not like, I mean, and obviously my background is mental health, mental health, and you need at least 7 hours sleep a day. And if you're showing up authentically, you have to be your best self. So I very much see how I look after myself or what my routine is part of my job. As you say, I can't be talking about what I talk about and not implement it in my life. But being true to me, and the authentic side of that, I suppose, is even in some of the things that I write early in the mornings, I write who I choose to be. I remind myself of my values, what's important to me in work and in, and that might sound very heavy, but you've got to know who you are to be authentic and not be afraid to show up who you are. And I genuinely believe that all comes from within, building that self-care and that courage and that. And I know you talk about the knowing that whenever you set your intention for something that's going to happen, you don't need to know the how, but you need to know yourself. If you need to know yourself and who you are and what your values are. So whether you're in the workplace or out doing a talk or delivering training or writing a book, that it's wholesome and that it's you. And people, and one of the things as well, and I was thinking about this earlier on in authentic leadership, years ago in business, just say business, it didn't matter who you were. You showed up in a black suit or a nice black pencil skirt, and you showed up looking your best self. But you weren't showing up all of yourself. People didn't really care. You had to be kind of ruthless. Whereas now, everybody wants to know your why. People want to know the story behind your business, which tells me authenticity is more important now than it ever was.
Yeah. And you can't fake it. You can't fake it.
No.
And I think part of being authentic is being confident within yourself. And the confidence comes from doing the work. As it is for standing on the stage and delivering a speech, you have to know what the message is. If you're winging it, people are going to know. But if you know at the core essence everything that you want to show up and share with the world, you can't go wrong because you know it so well. It's part of you. You will connect in with that crowd. You will connect in with your audience. You'll connect in with people you meet in an individual day, one-on-one, and deliver them what they need to receive at that time. I truly believe that. And you can't manufacture that. That's something that is within you. It's something that you tap into, I really believe as well. And starting the day off, I think reading your goals and reading, yes, wonderful. But if you write it out, you're activating it, you're actually actioning it, activating it within you so that it becomes an action you've taken first thing in the morning. I believe it's very powerful. That's all me and my writing stuff.
I'm laughing, they're sitting in front of me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different books that I use to write all my stuff every morning, what my intentions are. But that keeps me aligned and keeps me aligned and reminds me of, my intentions and who I'm choosing to be. But it's the good and the bad, sis, because we all have the light and the dark. So it's about embracing all of who you are to show up all that you are and understanding and maybe just accepting or working on the things that maybe you know about yourself that aren't so positive, which I always smile and laugh because we all have them. And then and working on that if you need to. But also, there's nothing as wonderful as just knowing who you are, going to like a really hard meeting or having to show up in your leadership capacity, and that feeling of confidence because you're being authentic. You can't, as you said, you can't make it up, and people know the difference. People genuinely know the difference, and that's why it's worthwhile, showing up authentically because people will know.
And there's a difference in showing up at the beginning of your journey and showing up authentic and being a bit shaky because you haven't got the confidence. You're still authentic and being a leader in that space because you're showing people how to take the first step. And it's important because there'll always be someone behind you taking that very first step. And that's the important thing. If even that shows that you are being authentic and true to that time and that moment. Like if we look back at our first videos, our first talks, we cringe, we're going, oh, no. but we were showing up and doing our best and showing, but practice and connections and really honing, like we learn and we grow in our craft every single day. And if we show up, and this is so much for everyone who's watching as well, you show up every single day and you grow every single day a little bit, that even if it's a day where you need to just go and hibernate or just go for a walk, just close over the diary, honor it, and then you can show up the next day and give it your all. That's being authentically true to you, and share that with others so that they may get permission themselves to gift that to themselves, because we don't need to be on the grind all the time. It's okay for us to pause. There's so much power in the pause. It's so powerful. That's actually where a lot of the work happens. And I talk about cycles, like when we're on intentions, we go in cycles. And so you set the intention, you go on the journey, and then it's kind of like full circle. You don't just keep going round and round and round. You have to pause and transition, declutter, let go of things that don't serve you anymore before you walk into a new intention circle. It's all those cycles are so important, and you have to honor them for you, and you're the only one who can guide you. We can tell you things that work for us, but you are the person that will only know what works for you, because you will be guided. The answer will you be navigated from within, isn't it, sis? Like, you can't avoid that.
100%. But do you know what it is? Being authentic is being imperfectly you. So being authentic and showing up your true self does not mean it's perfect. You're going to have shakes and wobbles. You're going to make mistakes. See, when you're being authentic, you can kind of shake them off and laugh a little bit to yourself.
Yeah.
And like once you know that you showed up your true self, it actually doesn't matter, because
Yeah.
we all live in our own heads or our own head spaces. So if we know, you can definitely rest your head at night knowing that you showed up authentic and your best. It's by no means perfect. Who is? And if everything is so absolutely perfect, I would question the authenticity behind that, because nobody, or not nobody, I'm sure some people do, but it would be very hard to all the time thinking that everything had to be absolutely 100%
But if
perfect,
you're
or
going to
not
go
allowed
for
to.
Yeah, if you're going to go for perfection, it has to be imperfection in that formula, that perfect formula.
Yes,
There Sheena says we can be our own worst critics. We can. But then
I
again, we
agree,
have
yeah.
to be mindful and navigate those thoughts within our mind, because they're very powerful. So we need to do the inner work and have good conversations with ourselves and give ourselves, pats on the back and encourage ourselves and really just get to know ourselves. That's where the authenticity comes out, isn't it? It's just so much fun. Can you
But
talk
you've
about,
got to
because I
take
think,
time.
yeah, you do have to take the time. I want, just before we finish off, I want to talk about a thing that you do authentically every single day, and it's kind of catching on for people. And I want our audience to hear about it, which is your car, what is it, your car chats?
Do you know how
They're
them car
awesome.
chats? I know, I love them. I done a chair chat today because uh, I wasn't out and about. So, do you know how they came about? Whenever I was in Sydney at the Osmompreneurs, everybody was giving feedback about the female founders, and I can't remember. It might have been Peace, but Peace and Katie said we would like to see more Emma. In my business, we'd like to see more Emma. And I was thinking, why would anybody want to see more Emma? Well, it turns out Emma's a little bit interesting, and people do want to see more Emma. So whenever I come back from Sydney that time, I was sitting in the car, and I think I had a coffee in my hand, and I was just sitting in the car. You know the way sometimes you sit in the car before you go into the house? It was one of those moments. And I literally pressed record on the video, and that was it. So I've been doing a car chat off the cuff ever since. That's a year and a half at least ago. And but you're right. I'm just showing up, Emma. They're authentic. I don't know what I'm going to say beforehand. Whatever comes into my head is what comes out of my mouth. And would you believe, Karen, the amount of feedback I get on those car chats? Just people saying, thank you for keeping it real, or I needed to hear that today, or, just something nice. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. So well done you for catching on to that, because that is me just showing up, Emma.
Yeah. It's totally fabulous. And how much fun was Sydney? I was speaking
Oh,
about it yesterday.
unbelievable. And that's where I came from. That is, the girl said we want to see more Emma, and I was like, why would anybody want to
Okay.
see more Emma? But yeah,
Yeah, what you asked
people
for.
do, so it's all good.
So one of the things I wanted to do today as well, because I was chatting to the wonderful Peace and Katie earlier, and I want to give them a shout out because in London there is the biggest event happening, and we are going to be there, and the Duchess is going to be there, and Peace and Katie are going to be there, and Tara is going to be there, and the amount of women who are in for these awards are phenomenal. Even just coming along, being there and mingling in this room of epic proportion and getting your shots and everything there. I highly recommend coming. So if you are around on the 25th of May, come to London, go to Women Changing the World Awards, grab your tickets and come join us. It's going to be phenomenal, isn't it, sis?
Yeah, like last year was just mind blowing, and this year I know as if it can get any better, it is just going to really blow the top off now. And as you said, the room is full of women from all over the world, all hungry to connect and speak to other people and see where conversations lead us. So it's, and to know what it is, and Pace and Katie do this so beautifully, but it's the atmosphere in the room as well and the feeling. So it's going to be like, I mean, the event of the year, and I'm not even joking.
It is, honestly, it's one of those things. If you don't go and you see all the things, you go, oh, I wish I had a went, and then you have to wait another year or more to go to it. And so I highly recommend. And one of the things is that this is a room full of women who are doing great work, good things in the world, and you want to connect with
Yes.
women like that because everyone uplifts each other and rises each other up. And every single time I go to one of these events, I come back with connections that helps me take the next step. Like that's priceless. It's the best investment ever. I've
Yeah.
never ever regretted going to one of their events. It's phenomenal. Even if you come and see us, that's
Well,
a body.
it was
Have
their
fun.
event I was coming from. It was their event, obviously, that I was coming from that started the car chat. So something
Yeah,
always comes out of it.
it does. It does. It's always really special. All right. Well, that is us for today. We hope that you enjoyed our authentic leadership chat. Please join the conversation, comment, and if you want to be a guest on the show, DM me or DM Emma or DM Weaver Birds TV, which is our Facebook page, and we will get back in touch. But for now, goodbye, everyone. See you next week.